Welcome back to the Retire Young podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the Retire Young podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. If you're just tuning in, Al was shedding some light on retirement accounts, and retirement strategies, or things that you can do to participate utilizing the financial markets. A lot of people that we're meeting with right now are scared of what's happening in these financial markets. Well, you shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't panic. And it's unfortunate, but you'll hear a lot of the things from the brokers and the financial advisors and TV and stuff. They're going to tell you, don't make emotional decisions. What that's doing is actually making people put their head in the sand and not take action. It's now is the time to take action in your retirement accounts. How you do that is self-directing. And Al, I know you wanted to continue this discussion on retirement because right now it's so important to help people start the process to learn just really how they can participate in these financial markets in their retirement accounts, but also have that confidence, because that's what it all comes down to. I mean, really, a lot of people are not confident of managing their retirements because they've been conditioned. They've been conditioned to say to think you can't do it. Well, here's the thing. You can manage your retirements. You can take matters into your own hands. It's not rocket science. You just haven't been taught yet. Al, how have you been helping people right now with the confidence to take over the retirement accounts comfortably?
Well, it all gets down to education again, and understanding that not only is the education available, but technology is available now. High-speed internet is available. The trading platforms are so sophisticated that as an individual, you really now have advantages over a lot of the pros. You can still trade the same things that they trade. You have the opportunity to do things, actually to get into and out of things maybe even faster than some of the Wall Street pros do. So the opportunity is there. The tools are there. The education is there. But I also want to make sure that people know, we talk about the leveraged assets. We're not saying that that's the only thing that you should invest in. A long-term stock portfolio is something that everybody should have. But you have been taught how to do that in a way that you're not getting the greatest benefit out of it. A typical buy and hold strategy has you buying at any price without really consideration of the best price, and then holding on through these corrections and crashes. Well, what about doing what I would call a modified buy and hold strategy? You have a portfolio of stocks, maybe ETFs, not mutual funds, and then learn how to actually get premiums off of those stocks. You can make money off of a stock without selling it. You can make money off of a stock without even owning it. And at the same time, you can use these assets to provide protection. So understand, we talk about all of the different assets and all of the different strategies that people need to go through different, time periods in their life. But we're not just talking about the leveraged assets. However, if you learn how to do those leveraged assets, you can take a small amount of money. When you're in your retirement years, a lot of people are thinking, I don't want to risk any of the money I have worked so hard for. Well, you don't have to take all of your retirement savings and invest it. You can take a small amount, as I mentioned before, maybe $1,000 or $2,000 in one of these leveraged assets where you're controlling maybe $100,000, $50,000, $100,000. I mentioned earlier that options have kind of double leverage. You can trade more shares with leverage, and then you also have return leverage. And just an example, one of the examples that we looked at back in April of 2019, NVIDIA, that chip stock, in 2 weeks was up 11.5%. That's pretty good. Most people would be happy with that. But you could have done what we call an at-the-money option on that same stock, and you would have been up 178%. So, the point I'm making there is that the leverage on returns can be great. So you can take a small amount of money. It would have cost you $735 to do that particular trade. You can take a small amount of money and have the potential for greater returns. You can do the same with futures in Forex. So if you have a lot of money in your retirement account, but you don't want to access it, do it with a small account using a leveraged asset. If you don't have much money in retirement, take a small amount of money, use the leveraged assets to kind of recover faster. And that's really how you can maybe come back from a situation like this faster, I can guarantee you that a lot of the people that are going to make a ton of money from this recovery from what we went through are going to be using something other than just regular stock. They'll be using the leveraged assets either alone or in conjunction with their stock portfolios.
Yeah,
so,
it's
again,
really you're right.
Opportunities.
You're right, Al. It's really how to utilize those opportunities, especially that leverage, to take small amounts of capital to do that. Because we talk a lot about leverage, and you said earlier a lot of people are scared of that. Well, everybody uses leverage in their everyday life, mortgages, car payment or car loans, all that stuff. And why not utilize that in the financial markets? Because you can, and it's just using your money wisely. I mean, especially in your retirement account, it doesn't make sense to put all, that old term, put all your eggs in one basket. It doesn't make sense to put all your money into 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 different funds, because then you're 100% invested, and that's why people take such a hit as markets go down, because you are 100% invested. Protect what you have. So if you want to learn the skills and start the process to do that, you just have to, like you said, Al, it comes down to education. Now, Al, a lot of people, we talk about, how we can take part in these financial markets on your own, but a lot of people just don't know exactly where to start. I mean, a lot of people think, well, do you got to go to a bank, or do you have to go to, something online? What are some of the things that you can do as far as like the first steps to really get started, to make it the easiest possible process?
Well, I think one of the great ways to start, you have to take that first step, it would be to come to one of the free workshops that you've been talking about. I mean, this is like 3 hours of your time. That time's going to be gone no matter what you do. But why not just invest that time in something that could maybe change your life? And I think that people are afraid to do this because they don't know how to do it. And talking about investing, and there's always going to be some fear or trepidation about something you don't know. And part of that is because you've been conditioned to believe you can't do it. Wall Street, they rely on financial advisors controlling your assets. Well, what they're doing is they're saying you're not smart enough to do this, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. I said earlier, the institutions are doing all the work out there. They're identifying what the right investments are, the right time to get in, the right time to get out. We're basically just copying them. We're showing you how to follow exactly what they're doing. So do you have to be smart to do it? No, you just have to be smart enough to follow the people that are already smart and are already doing it in a successful, consistent way. Then you're also told that, it takes too much time to do this. You don't have time to do that. Again, that's a fallacy. Most people, if you watch movies about Wall Street, you've seen a trader what's the word I'm looking for here, Josh?
I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, Al.
Well, a trader is portrayed as somebody who sits in front of a computer all day long, and that's exactly the wrong thing to do. That is really what will get in the way of you being successful, because you're going to overthink things.
There you go.
At that point, learn how to do it in a way. And our strategy, we have a patented strategy that we teach our students that includes a set of rules that you follow. It's a step-by-step process that you follow for every trade that you do, regardless of whether it's a stock trade, a futures trade, a forex trade, or an options trade. Once you do that, we even have a platform that we will give our students to use that takes you down the path of that core strategy, telling you this is a good trade or it's a bad trade.
Al, I really appreciate that insight about that stuff, about the platform and everything, because a lot of people are afraid. It'll help them with the confidence and the process with making better financial decisions. And like I said, I really appreciate this insight, Al. A lot of people are scared to death of this financial market right now, and really it's just an opportunity. And I think you're helping a lot of people see that this is just an opportunity. We shouldn't be afraid of it. We can take advantage of it. It's just having the proper mindset to get that, to start the process, take the action to have better financial literacy skills, and just knowing what to do with your financial future. Al, you always have some great words of wisdom. I mean, now is probably one of the best times we're going to need that with, helping people get started. What do you have today?
Yeah, we've never seen a situation like this where we've had global governments and global companies working together on the same project, the same issue. So we're going to come out of this. There's no question about that. But here's what I want to say. You can't calm the storm, so stop trying. What you can do is calm yourself. The storm will pass.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Don't forget to check out our website at retireyoungaudio.com.